Hello there, great person, and welcome back to Let's Watch Some Orb Movements of the Earth. So today we're episode 9, and it is called something like, so this is how it feels when you discover something new, I think. So we might have a great discovery today. I really am curious to learn more about the old astronomer. And we did have some flashback stuff with his family. And let's just get into it and have some fun. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and support my web novel a bit if you're interested in these kinds of stories about science and magic, perhaps even, and the afterlife, what it means to be human, and what belief systems might do and where they come from. So check it out. As always, link in the pinned comment for free. And we almost are at, I think, the comments we need from Madoka. And if you have some time, follow it, and you can help push that goal as well. But without further ado, we will just now go into this brilliant show and have some fun. Let's perhaps some trauma again as well, but let's have some fun, hopefully.
Doch ich frag mich, wer wir sind.
Really, why? Interesting. So, something that obviously is a driving factor here is the meaning of life a bit, because at least for me, the meaning of life is the meaning you give it. And I would say everyone finds the personal answer or doesn't, but I do hope you find your personal answer to the question, what is the purpose of my life? Like, I think that's the correct question. I think the question, the question, what is the purpose of life, is meaningless, because if everyone doesn't have their own answer, the answer is meaningless, to me at least. And I might be a bit of a unorthodox thinker there, but that's just how I see it as a pragmatist. It's like, you give your life meaning, and if there's no meaning in your life, you didn't give it, or you struggled hard and failed to give it meaning, which is also happening, of course, but that's sad, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. I sincerely do hope you will have a meaning in your life that drives you forward. I did, for example, visit my grandmother last week, and she's 91 now, and she's still suing for her neighbors, and she's very, very fit. Is that the word? Healthy? You know what I want to say. So, don't know. And at least I do think it's one of the important things to have, an aim, things to strive for, and a purpose you give yourself. 20 years. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed from his drawings, but... Does he hand it over because of his research or because they're related? How wise is that to have only one person enter it and be able to enter it? I mean, if it's a lot of knowledge, shouldn't that be at least available to like 3 people to cross-reference on stuff? Because you could just make a mistake, and I don't think this person here, like I don't know what Piast's mentor is like, but I would assume he's like, okay, I might err. I need to get this correct, so it's weird, but... Yeah, it's really awesome, though. No. One of the things that I find interesting with this precision idea is that that's what I thought as well when I was in school. Like, physics is precise, needs to be precise, but sometimes it doesn't need to be. Like, sometimes it's okay to just guess and estimate and be wrong by, like, I don't know, if you measure a speed, you are wrong by like 5 kilometers per hour or something. You know, it's like, sometimes it doesn't matter. It depends on what you want. Like, you know, so.
未来を捨ててこの修正宇宙に一生をかけてきた。
Very interesting. Why though?
まで誰にも明かすまいと誓っていた。
Okay, I like that they explain why his vault is like so closed off. But I would argue that, yes, like, this is just a belief. Like, it's a very baseless belief, being like, I have to be the one. It's a bit like, what's his name? Badeni? I don't remember. Like, the cool, the cool calculating dude, the astronomer. Badeni, I think his name is. Like, you know, it's like this pride thing that's in all of them, and I do think that's dangerous. But obviously, it is not that dangerous here. But
とは私ではなく君かもしれんからだ。
that's awesome, though. He trusts in him. Burden of ancestry on his shoulders.
計算、発想、そのすべてにおいて
See, this is also this thing of letting someone else take over the reins, and he seems to have always been centered on himself, but here he's like, okay, perhaps it's you and not me, and perhaps I was indeed wrong. In a sense, I like that. There's a lot of wisdom to conclude that.
すぐに着手しろとは言わん。
That's cool, man. But there's a lot of trust here.
あれが宇宙の正しい形。
Wouldn't that be so boring to have a description of the universe? I don't know. I think that's boring.
完成させ。
What did he see here? A shooting star?
こんな見間違いするなんて、私も疲れてるな。
Why? What did you see? Something not working?
満ちてない。
Yeah, okay, so he did have doubts. That's awesome.
完成についてですが、
おお、考えて
Oh, I love that. He is so happy.
いや、歴史を変えるものだ。
Yes. Really?
気が変わったらいつでも行ってこい。
I love that he keeps the door open. That's funny. So many years passed now. Wow.
だ。私は分かってい
Nah,
たまで聞く勇気を持てなかった。
really. He knows he saw something, I think. 5 years only, interesting.
ていたからだろ
そんな、あれは素晴らしい。
Why would you lie here? He's dying. I think I do think, though, to his defense here, that he's not completely thinking, but he does have doubts in that, like, there are these subconscious urges he has, and he can't place them yet.
う。その通りだ。あれは美しい。
Nah, it probably is beautiful.
聖書にもアリストテレスにものっとってる。
Does the Holy Scripture even have a model? I never really, looked it up.
完成しないのだ。
But that's beautiful. It's so good.
常に看過できない誤差が出てしまう。
I get that he's like, at the end of your life, he hasn't fulfilled his calling, so to speak, in his mind. But I would argue, but you moved towards it. Isn't that even more beautiful? You did work towards it, and he did. Even if it might have been wrong, but
いや、それならまだいい。本当に恐ろしい。
yeah, what is it?
前提から全て間違いだった場合だ。
Yeah, always might be.
私はなんて無駄な人生を。
Yeah, that is scary though. Yeah.
宇宙が完成しなかったのは
Yeah, I don't know. You know, the thing is like, did he waste his life? He seemed to have had a very fulfilled life in the way that until this moment he spoke very calm, was very kind, and seemed very satisfied. And I would argue, isn't that worth something as well, being satisfied? Because as I think I said last time or the time before, it's like all knowledge will cease. Doesn't matter in the big end of history of the universe. Very likely everything will fade in the end. There will be a point when the last star dies. You know, it's like no one will be left. And even if they're left, they're somewhere else. I don't know, like you can go sci-fi and be in like another dimension, another universe, whatever. Perhaps that's a hopeful way of looking at it, but we wouldn't exist in the way we know. I think it's impossible because there would just be heat death, for example. And, you know, so in the end, like what do you mean by saying I want my work to make history? For whom? For the next 200 years? The next 2,000? 2 million? What are you talking about? There is a time when everything will cease, you know, and it's perhaps a bit rash to say for me because I get him. I think the same way he does. It's just like I ask myself that as well. Like my research is also, I would say, something really completely. It did bring something really new to the table of cognitive development of learning processes, but it will be forgotten one day. I know that, but I act as if it wasn't. You know, that's so weird. Like I act as if I do this big thing and it will change the world and it will be awesome and it will hopefully better education and create more valuable lessons and educational programs. But then one day humans will be gone. Like, is it that? Like I can't really link these thoughts because I know in the end it's pointless, but I think I still don't act in my life as if it was, and that's so weird. And I still stand by my actions more than my thoughts. You know, it's like the idea of everything being gone in the end and meaningless is just a phrase to me. Like it does not have meaning itself to me, even though it's true in the logical sense. But it's so weird. I don't know.
だからあの研究は間違いじゃない。捧げた教授の
Yeah, I love that he supports him here, but is that wise? One day. No, that's awesome though. That's so awesome. He also said the truth, not that I was right. And it was the same thing as last episode when he started having the flashback that it's like, sometimes perhaps it's good to be, like, you want the truth, you don't want to be right. You know what I mean? It's such a good distinction. Though if the afterlife is hard, like in my web novel, they won't remember. But they will meet again, but they won't remember. Yeah, so he died in his arms. I love these poetic things. And that's also a big burden he now carries. And I understand why he does what he does, you know?
教授は
言ったよ。
Yeah. Very interesting stuff, man.
宇宙を完成させる。
But he doesn't seem that determined. Like, I know he was determined in the end, but, you know, it's like very fascinating. He's just doing it to, further the research. Let's see. That's so awesome, though. What's the condition?
貴様らの間違いを証明することだ。
That's awesome, though.
私はあるものを見た。いや、見間違
Yeah, what was it? A retrogradation or something?
いが私の人生に疑念を
That is so awesome, though. I do think you should always doubt your theories and hypotheses. Because they cannot be complete. They cannot. If they are complete, it's not science anymore. It would defeat the whole purpose of it. I would say. I would be interested to argue that. I'm sure people have very good counterpoints to that statement. I would be very interested in those. Because it's more like a hunch. But that's how I currently think it is. And doubts are very healthy. The problem is, though, if you have too many doubts. I always have too many doubts. But I'm a person that in general has many doubts. Like, is my hypothesis correct? Are my predictions fruitful? Are they errors that I didn't account for? Or like, is my writing good enough? Do people even like it? Like, or I don't know. Did I teach the right things in class? Like, I have so many doubts in my life, but I think that's healthy. I think that's healthy in at least the way that I won't overestimate myself. I will underestimate myself a lot, though. I will. Like, I know that's a problem, but...
言うのです。
満ちた。
Venus.
そんな。
満ちた金星
Yeah, what does that mean? I'm unsure. I don't know that much about Venus. Yeah.
ということは、太陽に照らされる方向もある程度決まっていて。
Oh, I see. I see. Because if the sun's here and Venus is here, like, you could never... Wait, what's also very cool is that I didn't register that because it was too obvious, but they now use two trajectories, like a round one and a little round one on that round one to make it work. That's really clever. But if Venus is revolving at the same angular velocity, it will always be in the like, there will always be Venus eclipses or whatever you say. That's so cool.
星は太陽を中心に動いていると考えるのが自然だ。
Yeah, it's like you can see it here, but what was the other way around? So yeah, Venus is always like this, and I hope you understand what this is. This is a bit bad though, because you would look from like here, like you would stand here and look at it like this to see this. Like, you always see this thing because it's obviously a sphere. Like, this is from the side of the sphere. That's never possible. I'm probably rambling for you. Like, it makes sense for me, but sorry. So anyway. So apparently in this hypothesis, it always has to be, because the sun is on the outside, Venus can never be fully illuminated. Because if Venus would be fully illuminated, it would be behind the Earth here, like down here, but then the Earth would be in front of it, so it wouldn't be possible. I see.
欠けて見えるんです。
しかし、
I guess that's what they want to say.
だ。つまりこれで地球中心という
Yeah. That's the thing, though, by the way, and I do think this is no trivial matter what is being talked about here. You once see something you think is an error to your hypothesis, and even seeing that is hard because your cognition is wired to not see it. Fun story. I did have some in a seminar today. we talked about a little test we did, or a little research, like mock research we did on primary school students who were like asked something about a bottle with a hole in it, that where the air pressure would go through the hole into the bottle and do stuff. Doesn't really matter. And some did say, yeah, the water did run out of the hole, so that's why there are certain things happening. And it is like, it wasn't the case, but they saw it. They said they saw it. And you see things that are not there if your hypothesis is wired into your brain. And not even if, it is always wired into your brain. So you always see what you want to see first. So seeing that is a big step initially. And it goes even further that he remembers it, because you first have to see it, which is hard because your cognition will work against that. And then you will have to not disregard it as a fluke, because that's also what you want to do, because otherwise you are incorrect. And there might just be a stupid error, you know, that might be the atmosphere playing tricks on you. So you know what I mean?
られる。本当に貴様らの仮説が正しいな。
That's convenient, but I like it. I love that, man. I love that. He's open for it, though. Open for it, though. I like that. So he has to trust him as well.
の図形が書かれている。それが視覚か深淵か。
Wow, that's really fucking hard. Interesting.
どちらが書かれているか見えたか。
Obviously he can. That's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's funny. That's funny. You troll. You old troll, you.
いいだろう。私は部屋へ戻る。金星が出。
But he has to believe him. He has to believe him. It's interesting. Man, I love this picture so much. It's very beautiful.
もし今日満ちた金星が見えなかったら、
Yes, what then?
つまり底辺に貼り付けら
No, it doesn't mean that. It just, like, that's a problem as well. It might just mean that the other hypothesis is wrong as well. Like, it could be neither. Like, Mars could be the center. Like it's like this idea is like, it doesn't, like, just ruling out one thing doesn't confirm the other necessarily. Not always. So that's also very finicky.
ご自身の経験からこの世は苦しみが多いと思うと
Okay, so she randomly knows that. But apparently perhaps she knows it from her father, yeah. Salvation on earth.
教えられてきました。でもずっと疑問だ。
Why though? Indeed, Mikasa would agree with you.
獣、罪深い人間。そういった悲劇の類の者たちですら。
No. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I guess, as well.
夜空が一つなら、どんなに怪我してもこの世から。
That's such a cool sentiment. But you have to keep in mind that in the end, all of these interpretations of beauty, of purpose and stuff, they could probably be had with all observable things. It's like, I could probably be creative and interpret positive things into everything and negative things into everything, you know, so. But yeah, it's like a bit of the mental state of the masses.
バデーニさん、
ん
質問なんですけど。
Ooh, really? Yeah, that's the thing I was also wondering about.
ある。だがその場合でも、少なくとも私は
That is awesome. That is awesome. Also, this implies that Badeni wants him to tell the truth, which is also awesome. Like implicitly at least, he considers being wrong as well. So that's awesome.
どちらにせよ、宇宙の何かを確定させてし
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
まうことも、正直俺はよくわからない。
But sometimes you don't. Yeah.
って信念はない。ただ天国へ行きたいだけだったのに。
Yeah, who doesn't want to go to heaven?
俺の人生で最大に謎な機会
But this again, if you're a believer, wouldn't you assume God is leading you on your way, or the devil? Like, could be either, but you know what I mean. It's like, because we tend to interpret intent into things.
俺は今満ちた金星
That's really cool, man. But that's the problem as well. If he wants to see it, he might see it.
期待してく
That's awesome. That's really cool, though. I love how they create these ideas from astronomy. It's really cool. It's a very powerful field. You need to watch the sky for quite some time, though, to get used to the brightness and stuff, so...
満ちてろ
Also, it would be really shitty if the clouds were there.
満ちてろ見えろ
That's dangerous what he's doing here. I mean, it's cool that it's full, but... Yeah. Earth shattering.
満ちてる
That's so awesome, though. Oh, it's so cool. I don't know why, but it makes me very teary. That's really cool, man. Yeah, it's so awesome. It's so cool, man. That's so cool, man.
きっとそれが何かを知るということだ。
Indeed, it does. The world changes because you change when you learn something. Literally, your brain rewires. Man, that was so awesome. So awesome.
金星は満ち
大丈夫ですか
And he's believing him as well. I like that. What's gonna happen though?
考えればもし本当に
No.
金星が
He's now trying to justify his model.
回っている証拠であって地球が動いている証明には
That is true though. That's what I said as well.
神が作った自然か人間が作った口実か
That's awesome, yeah. I like it though. Both of them have a point. You can't tell.
こんな一瞬で否定して良いものではない
That is true. It shouldn't. And I do think he's more reasonable than they are here, by the way. I do think he is more reasonable because he's trying to make the observations fit his model, which is what you would do. Like, that's because that's it's more likely than that you just erred a bit than that your whole worldview is wrong. It's just more likely. That doesn't mean anything in the end, obviously, because sometimes your worldview is wrong. You don't know before, but it's just something you tend to do. You tend to go from small error correction to big one. Like, for example, I don't know if you think the Earth is a disk, and someone told you, yeah, it's a sphere, and you can prove that, like, if you like are on a sphere and you zoom in, it's like a flat plane. That would be reasonable, but saying the Earth is a like jagged piece of wolf creature, you would be like, no, why would I suddenly think that? You know, it's like, it's a bit Occam's razor as well, but that's something to consider. Like, he's now fitting, like, he's starting to fit it, and you would end at the same point. If you say, okay, Venus is revolving around the sun, okay, then you would find another planet, and you would iteratively do that until you get to the point where Earth also does it. You know, it's like, and that would probably even be the more logical step to do. Like, if they try to push this model, that's the best thing to do. Start with Venus is orbiting the sun. Start with that. That would be something people might buy. And so you could convince people easier towards the model, because if you convince them that that Venus and Mars and Mercury orbit the sun, and that gets accepted, like, the church can't just suddenly say, no, all of that we taught for like 50 years is wrong. We have to go back and no. And they, like, it's like, because it's ingrained, you know. So I think he is, like, I would agree with him, wouldn't I know better that he's wrong, but I do think he has the better point, but then he doesn't, but then he's just currently being like, yeah, everything's wrong. And he's like, I think the Venus stuff is wrong, so let's adapt that. You know, that's the more scientific way to do it, by the way. So, but it's obviously both have interesting perspectives here. And that is why I would say he's right here with his statement as well. Like, if you've learned a lot of stuff, the chances that some genius comes along and turns it all on its head is very slim. It's not zero. It happened. But you know how many papers I've read submitted that were absolute utter horse shit, that are like people claim to have discovered dark matter and all that stuff, and you look into the papers and like on line 2 there's a error because someone equated a scalar with a vector or some shit. Like, it's like, you know, it's very, very rare. Like the science has to predict better and be formally correct, and then you can perhaps create something new. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I really do think he's the better scientist compared to Badeni here.
では
In that, like, not in that he gets the better end results, but he's iteratively going towards the truth. He's not a radical scientist, and I do think in most cases that's more sensible. That perhaps that's better expressed.
究極に無慈悲で、それゆえに平等な。
Really, and what is that?
それはい
つか
Truth. Yeah.
リタ
I do think Badeni played him here a bit. I like the situation a lot, but he played him here. Like,
質の鍵だ。すべてはここにある。
I do think, what's his name, Plast or whatever his name is, was a bit more correct in his approach here. But I like it's reasonable. All of this is very reasonable. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just like from the perspective I have, I just want to let go. Oh, he died. Oh God. Okay. No. Okay. I was afraid he died.
この
Interesting.
性が積み重ねられていると思う。
That as well is so awesome because he did keep the data, which is objective. So his life's work is the collection of this data. It's just the interpretation that wasn't his. So his life was in the end meaningful. Even like you could argue it from that point if he's doubting that his theory. Do you know what I mean?
過去の積み重ねの先に答えがない。
No. It's funny though.
ことは歴史にとって無意味ではない。
Yeah, that's true. I love this story. That was so cool.
どうでした
Yeah, sorry for the interruption. My daughter did lose her pacifier. We're back.
研究者でもないのにここで作業するわけにはいか
That
ない。
is true.
あ
Nah. What will Norwalk do?
私としてはできればここで外れてほしい。
Yeah. That would probably be better. That would be better for her. In that, like, she has the rougher decision now a bit, I feel, because she could be like, no, I'm gonna help you, but I'm gonna go into Devil's Kitchen. I don't think Nowak would do something to her if she left here, but she knows the truth is not taught, so she's a scholar, she will not do it. Okay, interesting. She might help later when Nowak's on the trail, I don't know.
非常に稀だが、何か一つ頼みを聞き。
Wow, that's very respectful as well.
させてください。
ああ、約束し。
What will she do though?
我々が捕まったとしても、君は無関係を貫け。
Yeah, it's probably better. I could see that Badini and what's his name? The dude with the good eyes. It wasn't Gras. What Ochi? I'm sorry, Okchi. They could die, and she will carry on. I could see that. Unfortunately.
資料頼んだぞ。
あ、はい。
Very fascinating episode.
ありがとうございました。私もこれで。
Where is she going now, though? Because the thing is, the director also knows she's a genius now.
文字が読めるってどんな感じなんですか？
Oh, that's so sad.
平然と読んでるけど、ちょっと前までは俺の人生で文字読める人
Yeah,
なんて。
Grass. Grass was the only person. Man, rip Grass. I'm so sad his death wasn't completely tragic.
はい。
教会
Yes? Yes?
出ないから言いますけど、文字はまるで奇跡。
Yes, they are.
もちろん救世主様が起こす奇跡とは全く別種のものですよ。
That's semantics, though.
あれが使えると時間と場所を超越できる。
Yeah, that is so true.
とも1000年前の噂話で笑うこともある。
That's so cool. Yeah, that's true. No.
その一瞬、この時代から抜け出せる。
Escapism is a very strong thing, yeah.
ずっと未来の誰かを動かすことだってある。
Yeah. Now he wants to read, I hope, yeah.
そんなに。
I completely agree with her, though I would even go further because they didn't have that much fiction in this time, I think. And I think fiction is even more interesting because the level you address problems at is another one, a different one. It's not just writing down stuff from perspectives, it's figuring stuff out anew. And that's why I write. I mean, with my stories, I try to find out stuff about humanity, basically. Like, for example, with my horror stories, I try to find out what traumata, and how to deal with them or how to not deal with them and what could happen. And in my a fantasy story, obviously, I do address the question who we are, what drives us, and what are connections between us and how can they be. And I do think these things are very, very important to have because basically writing and reading is coding your experiences and freezing them forever in time. And I know forever, as I said, someday all of it will be gone, whatever happens. But as a for the next 1,000 years, it might affect someone, and I love that. And because it's transporting situations and impressions, and I love it. I really hope that Okshi will read one day as well. Would do him a lot of good. Now, Piast, or whatever your name is, will you die? I feel he will die in this episode. Like his chair, though. Probably less comfy than it looks. Did he add the observation he made all those years ago? Yeah, he's gonna die here, I think. Yeah. Oh. Ooh, this is making me really sad, man. Because he was a good person in the end. Oh. I hope he looks at the stars one last time. Oh my god, man. I have to yeah. That's so cool, man. That's so fucking off. Even though it still might not be the truth, but man. This reminds me so much of the 12th Doctor's death. Stars. I hope that we stars. Oh, man. That was really cool, man. I knew he would fucking die. I hated it. Oh, God, fuck off, man. Yeah, and fucking happy. Fuck off with your happy music. fuck off, man. I loved that episode so much, man. What an awesome character, because he was a true scientist. I think next to Raphael, arguably Piast, is this his name? He was the best depicted scientist. Like, that was true to the scientific idea and spirit. He was the best depicted, I feel. I think he was my favorite character till now, next to Raphael. Raphael is my favorite character because of what he did in the end, but this Piast guy, man, I absolutely loved this depiction of his, and that he in the end did do away with his stuff, and he died below the stars, beneath the stars, as he deserved, and that was fucking awesome. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the reaction. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're almost at 20k subs, so share the videos around a bit if you have the time. Also, check out my web novel as well, and let me know what you think of it. And take care of yourself. I will see you next time. Bye.